Monday Night Football. We've got a Super Bowl rematch. The Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. And here's my bold prediction of the day. This is going to be the first watchable primetime NFL game since the Cold War. All of the primetime football games have been dog shit this year. Tonight, it changes. We're going to have a good game between the Chiefs and the Eagles. That is going to be my boldest prediction of the night, followed by some DFS picks and predictions, looking at some lineups here as well. So if you guys could do me a favor, like the video, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. And if you want to sign up for our NFL Sims package or our NBA Sims package, we have our promo code Millie going on. It is 20% off when you sign up for the first time, and today is the last day to take advantage of it. So if you guys have been looking to sign up for our Sims tool, take advantage of it now before this promo ends, and Monday is the last day to sign up. But let's go ahead and look at these different lineups that I have here, starting with DraftKings, and then we'll sim lineups out for FanDuel as well. I'm going to favorite my top 150 lineups. And my number one overall best projected lineup by simulated ROI, it is Patrick Mahomes. Devontae Smith does have the Eagles defense in it. Harrison Butker, Jake Elliott, Travis Kelce. So I talk about how excited I am for Monday Night Football. And then what do we have here? My top overall projected lineup is two kickers and a defense in it. You know, let's hope that is not actually the nuts, but at the same time, maybe do hope it's the nuts because it's my top projected lineup. But if we go ahead and look at the lineups that are expected to be duped the most often, the highest. By the way, pretty crazy because this lineup has a really high simulated ROI while still being duped a ton of times. Don't typically see this for DraftKings, but Kelce, A.J. Brown, Calcaterra, Jalen Hurts, Watson, Patrick Mahomes. So this is a lineup here that is expected to be duped a bunch, but actually projects so highly that it still did make it into some of my top lineups, whereas all these other duped lineups, not in my top 150. So we got this lineup here, also expect to be duped a whole bunch. Mahomes, Brown, and then also Calcaterra, Jalen Hurts, Noah Gray, and Travis Kelce. Now let's go ahead and look at some of the individual exposures we're getting to on DK. And really, the Eagles defense popping up the most. This is what the data is showing us here. And then the Chiefs defense as well. So it really, I feel like my data is making fun of me right here. The tool, it's just saying like, hey, you think this game is going to be good? You're going to make some bold proclamations. We're going to make sure you're getting to a bunch of the defenses in this game. On the other side, though, they are very cheap, both the Eagles and the Chiefs defense. So they are sources of salary savings, which is why they are projected to be fairly popular. 30% ownership going to the Chiefs here, 20% to the Eagles. So even in a high-scoring game, we've got the Eagles projected for a decent amount of ownership and fantasy points because of how cheap the defenses are in this game and the lack of other options that we have to save salary with on the cheap end, compared with we've got quarterbacks like Mahomes and Jalen Hurts that we're going to want to get exposure to. Travis Kelce as well, my most rostered captain in the game. 43.3% of my lineups have Travis Kelce at the captain spot. Next most rostered captain for me, Hurts at 19%, Mahomes at 16%, and then A.J. Brown at 14%. Really only those four studs are the players I'm getting captain exposure to. Other flex options beyond the defenses, getting to Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes, each in a little bit over 40% of lineups. Then Justin Watson as a salary saving play, getting to him in 39% of lineups. Only projected for 5.55 fantasy points, but still, that is enough to get him into 39% of lineups because of the value shortage with all of the studs to pay up for in this game. A.J. Brown, then Travis Kelce here. So if we're going to rank the studs in this game based on the amount of exposure I'm getting to them here, we're going to say Travis Kelce 1, even though I've less of him in the flex spots because of all the captain exposure we have to him. So 80% of lineups here with Travis Kelce. Past Kelce, I'm going to go number 2, Patrick Mahomes, 3, Jalen Hurts, and then 4, A.J. Brown. All of them look good, but that's the order in terms of priority. If you guys are just hand building a lineup or two, that's how I would rank the payout options for tonight on DK. Other guys we're getting to, DeAndre Swift, a little underweight to the field on him, underweight to a Pacheco as well. So underweight to both the running backs, which is primarily because of how many good weapons there are in the passing game. Talked about liking the quarterbacks, and then also Kelce and A.J. Brown. Harrison Butker getting a little bit overweight to the field on him, and then same with Jake Elliott. So just really struggling for salary savings in this game. That's where the kickers and defense is coming into play. Underweight to Devontae Smith, and let's see if there's anybody else that we're getting overweight to or underweight to in any kind of significant way. So also underweight to Rashee Rice, only getting to him in 14.7% of lineups. Calcaterra, underweight to him. He was in some of the top lineups. He's the most popular punt play on the slate, projected for nearly 20% ownership. I only have him in 7% of my top lineups. We go ahead and look at who we are overweight to on the cheap end. pretty much everybody we've already talked about, the defenses, and then also Justin Watson. Jerick McKinnon is also one that kind of stands out, particularly only 3% projected ownership. So if you really want to be different today, Jerick McKinnon, the running back that I'm the most overweight to, getting to 10% with only 3% projected ownership. So that is going to be a wrap up of everything on DraftKings. Now we'll go ahead and look at FanDuel. So I'll do the same deal here, but build lineups out for FanDuel. Set it to 20% at first because FanDuel isn't quite as top heavy. Stick the lineups in there. And now we'll sim it out and see what we end up getting to. And curious to see what's different FanDuel relative to DraftKings, because FanDuel typically more favorable to scoring for the running games as opposed to the pass catchers. And we're getting to so much of Travis Kelce and AJ Brown over on DraftKings. Let's see if that ends up being the same over on FanDuel. Favoriting the top 150 lineups, and a double defense in my top projected lineup here. Patrick Mahomes, Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce. So it is a 4-1 Chiefs onslaught. The only Eagles player I'm getting here is the defense, then with the Chiefs passing game and the Chiefs defense. So a game that is playing for the Chiefs to just kind of crush the Eagles, and then maybe the Eagles get like a defensive touchdown on a punt return or a kick return or something like that. But that is by far my top projected simulated ROI lineup. If you want one that doesn't have both defenses in it, my second best projected lineup here is Jalen Hurts, Eagles defense, Harrison Butker, Jerick McKinnon, Patrick Mahomes. Duped lineups that are duped the most over on FanDuel. This one by a mile. We've got Hurts, Kelce, McKinnon, Devontae Smith, Pacheco expect to be the most popular lineup over on FanDuel. So got that of the 10,000 lineups built, 102 of them ended up being this lineup. So that's a lineup that a lot of the field looks like it's going to be playing. Exposures for FanDuel. And yeah, something that looks very similar to DK. Chiefs and Eagles defenses showing up a whole bunch here as value options. Same with Harrison Butker. So top 3 most rostered players over on FanDuel. Defense, kicker. Then behind that, we've got a lot of Travis Kelce. Kelce's still the most rostered MVP over on FanDuel, even with the only 0.5 point PPR bonus there. So Kelce here in 77% of lineups. He is the pay up option I'm getting to the most for FanDuel. And then if we scroll down a little bit here, Mahomes in 27% of lineups, Jalen Hurts in 27% of lineups in the MVP. So we've got those 3 guys making up north of 80% of the MVP ownership. And then you got AJ Brown here at 11%. So once again, just really those 4 making it into lineups as the MVP, Kelce being the priority. And then you got like a tier 2 of the quarterbacks and Mahomes and Hurts, and then AJ Brown coming in next as far as order of priorities for those MVP spots on FanDuel. Rest of the guys here, we've got Pacheco is in 28.7% of lineups, but well underweight to the field to him. He's projected for 45% ownership on FanDuel. So Pacheco looks super popular, and I'm way underweight to the field. Probably, player I'm most underweight to on FanDuel. So Pacheco, Devontae Smith, Noah Gray, these 3 guys way underweight to. Got only 2.7% of Gray when he's a popular punt option. Got Devontae Smith in 13% of lineups, prioritizing AJ Brown and Travis Kelce as far as pass catchers, and then hardly getting to any Pacheco relative to the field like we looked at before. But then nobody else am I really all that crazy underweight to over on FanDuel. And then even the Mahomes here is misleading because I don't have as much of him in the captain spot, but then more of him in the flex spot. Mahomes is projected for 35.5% MVP ownership on FanDuel. So if you're playing anybody else in that multiplier spot, you probably have a lineup that's somewhat different looking for FanDuel purposes. Although actually Jalen Hurts also 33.6. So I'll take that back. But yeah, these 2, the 2 quarterbacks are projected for 70% of the MVP ownership on FanDuel. And I'm a little bit underweight to both of them. So I do really like that Kelce play in the MVP spot to deviate from those QBs. If we go ahead and look at who we're overweight to, Eagles defense, Chiefs defense, talked about Kelce only projected for 10% MVP ownership. I got to 31% of him. Also overweight to Harrison Butker at a pretty good clip in the flex spot. Let's see just some other exposures as we scroll down. Rashee Rice, who are underweight to on DraftKings, about even with the field to on FanDuel. And then Jake Elliott, about even with the field to slightly underweight. So if you're going to play one of the kickers, Harrison Butker is projecting much better for us than Jake Elliott is. So that's a roundup of what we're looking at on FanDuel. If you guys haven't done yet, like, follow, subscribe. It is much appreciated. And then also, don't forget, if you want to sign up for our Sims packages, use that promo code Millie, MILLY, all capital letters, 20% off the first time you sign up. That is going to do it for me. If you guys want more content on the YouTube channel tonight. We're going to have NBA live before lock. We're going to have NFL live before lock. So check all that out later tonight. Good luck today, guys, and I hope to see you on tonight's shows.